Hello and welcome to My Retro Watches. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mike, and if you like this video then please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing and hitting the bell button down in the bottom corner here to be alerted on any new content that I upload. Okay, so with that out the way, this is hopefully going to be a quick video on my exploration into a Seiko chronograph. It's a 6139 and it's an early one. It's a 1969, which I believe is the first year of production. It's what we call a proof watch. I'll kind of show you that very quickly as well. So by the magic of editing, this is the watch here that you can see now. And this was sent to me, or a link of this was sent to me by a friend of mine, Alan Symes, while I was on holiday. Said that this is a non-runner, it's on eBay, it's a good buy, so take it. So I bought it, knowing it was a non-runner and knowing full well that it's got some problems, and also knowing that I've not really been into chronograph movements of any magnitude yet. I've actually attempted a 6139 already, which is still in parts because one component, or a critical component, which is called the chrono wheel, the top of the stem has snapped off and I need to replace it, and trying to find a replacement is becoming quite troubling. So this will be my second attempt. I'm not sure really what I'm going to film, whether I'm going to film any of the, I might film the disassembly, but the assembly I think I might need to learn the movement before I'm actually able to do you a video of the assembly that you can follow along to. Anyway, but this video is just quickly to show you this particular watch because it was a non-runner. It's actually missing its chrono hand, which I was quite worried about. But after receiving it today in the post and opening it up and admiring it and looking at the problems that I face, i.e. a new crystal, for instance, I need a spring for one of the pushers. With a little prod inside, I kind of got it running intermittently. I didn't take anything off, I just sort of had a little feel around with some pegwood, and it ticks extremely fast, or the balance oscillates really quickly. And when I saw that, I was really pleased because I've seen this before in quite a few watches, and I'm going to show you that on the bench in a moment, and I'm going to go and show you what caused that, or what causes it. It might be surprising to some of you, it might not, but certainly any of you are just out there trying to learn a bit of watchmaking, and you open up a watch and you see this sort of thing, you've got a great idea straight away of what the problem is going to be. So I'm going to show you that on the microscope and on the bench, and then perhaps just show you the rest of the watch while we're there. And you know, from that I'll end the video, and then stay tuned because there may well be a stripped down video of this at some point. Of course, I've got a lot in the pipeline. I've got the giveaways to do, and I've still got to finish some other videos that I'm halfway through as well, so I'm doing a lot. So anyway, I'll stop talking. Let's meet you on the bench where you can see the watch face to face. Right then, here we are on the bench, and you are looking at the watch. It's got a lovely blue dial. It's not without a bit of tarnish and a few marks here and there. It's hard to see at the moment because the crystal in the light, you can see, is heavily scratched and marked. Of course, that will need replacing to show off that blue dial in all its glory. It's really unfortunate, as I said before, that the chrono hand is missing. Any of you guys watching this now have got one of those and want to sell it, then please let me know. I'd love to try and get hold of an original one rather than having to use an aftermarket. The aftermarkets don't always fit very well, and there clearly are aftermarket, and I'm a bit apprehensive, so I really would like to try and source a new one. But as you can see, it's in pretty reasonable shape. It's got the kanji Japanese date wheel there, day wheel, sorry, which means it was probably the Japanese domestic market watch. Now I'll quickly flip it over. I said it was a proof watch, and I've only just learnt this recently, and essentially what a proof watch means is it says waterproof. Now everything up to a certain date, it could be 1970 or 71, I've not quite done my research, the Seiko watches said waterproof, and the later models, I'm just trying to see if I've got one here, then I haven't actually to hand, but the rest of them then said water resistant. So it was a significant change, and that's how you can also date these, because the date here, if you went from the serial number from the 991393, this could mean it's a 1969, or it could mean that it's a 1979. But because we've got the proof, we can ascertain that this is a 1969 model, which theoretically would make this a lot more desirable because it is the first year of production of this particular watch. So I'm going to take the case back off. It was only really, like I say, a quick video to show you what I had observed, and I'll move the rotor out of the way, and hopefully you can see that. So that balance wheel, it looks like it's moving really fast. It is, but it has got no amplitude at all, so it should be going through a very long swing of degrees quite fast to give it a nice motion, and that is going 10 to the dozen very, very quickly. And if I'm quiet and try and put it to get my microphone, I'm not sure if this is going to come through, but you'll have to see in editing. But if that's come through, you'll, oh, it's stopped now typically. It's ticking very, very, very quickly. So what is causing that? I guess some of you more advanced out there will probably know instantaneously. But what I can tell you before I show you is it's all to do with the hairspring. So the hairspring on this balance here is sticking, which is making it run very short. So why is the hairspring sticking? Is it demagnetized or is it something else? So I'm now going to swap over to the microscope, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to remove the balance now, put it on the microscope, and show you exactly what is causing this problem. Okay, here we are on the microscope at times 20. Just examining the pivot itself, and then as I bring it into focus, you can see quite clearly here that the hairspring is not centric at all. Those coils are all stuck together, certainly down one end in particular at the bottom here. And all I'm going to do is take my tweezers, and I'm going to try and do this without looking through the viewfinder, and I'm going to move the spring, and hopefully if you look here for instance, you should quite easily tell that yes, what is sticking it all together is oil, and lots of oil. So it would appear to me that this particular watch, somebody's tried, maybe it's stopped running at some point in time, and rather than go and spend the money and have it serviced correctly, they've decided to try and either attack it themselves, and thus causing certain bits of damage that I've seen on the dial, on the hands, the hand being missing of course as well, and one of the pusher springs missing. It looks like they've had the movement out and sprayed or put some sort of oil onto the hairspring, thinking that that's the problem, and of course that's not, because that's now ruined the hairspring, so it's never going to run correctly while it's covered in oil because it's just sticking together. There's a good chance that when I actually strip the movement to bits, I'll probably find more oil within the movement itself, although I haven't seen that or any evidence of that yet. Typically when I've seen this problem, somebody's usually sprayed WD-40 or some sort of other oil all the way through the movement, thinking that that's going to free everything up, and of course it just does terrible damage. The one thing it doesn't do is make the watch go rusty. It's a great preventative. So anyway, what I'm going to try and do now is to clean this off camera, just get rid of that oil. So I'm going to use some essence of Renata, which is a hairspring degreasing fluid. I'll run that in my ultrasonic for a little while, try and clean it up. We'll put it back on the microscope and see if its coils have come back into shape. If they have, we can return it to the movement and see if we get an improvement. We might not. I mean, this is the voyage of discovery for me, because there could be more underlying problems in the movement itself. However, the pallet fork with the balance out just move quite freely from side to side, which indicates that everything's okay in the train. So I'm hoping that the main issue with this particular watch is just this. So without further ado, I'm going to clean this up, and the next you'll see it is back on this microscope, hopefully looking a lot better. Okay, so I've just cleaned that, like I say, in some Renata. Only about 5 minutes or so, just let it soak. I didn't bother putting it in the ultrasonic in the end, just swished it around a bit and pulled the balance up a little bit so the liquid would get through the coils, and it's done a pretty good job of degreasing, and the coils have improved no end. They're pretty centric, although to me it looks slightly off. However, that could be just the regulator arm, or it needs a little tweak somewhere. So at the moment I'm quite happy. I'll just come in again with my tweezers and just give it a gentle push, and as you can see now they're all free and they're not sticking. So we'll now put it in the movement and hope, fingers crossed, it'll run a little bit better. Okay, I've fitted the balance, and hopefully you can see there now that that is running at 100% better. I'm going to attempt to do my microphone trick again. And I do hope that we can now hear the difference in the ticking of this particular watch now. I'm very, very pleased and very, very relieved to see that. However, I've found one problem straight away. Might be obvious to you guys who are into chronographs, but so far to me it's eluding. If I turn it over, the sub second hands does not appear to be working properly at all. It'll either move a little bit or it won't move at all. As my pushers are generally seized up, or what, this one isn't working at all, I can only assume that it's got something related to do with the chronograph function, because the minute hand is rotating fine. I've let it run for a few minutes just to see, so clearly it's just something wrong with that second hand. It's odd because I would assume that that would always be running, and certainly if the balance is moving, the train must be moving, so therefore that should move as well. So I will find out in due course what this is, and I'm sure some of you guys out there who already know will be leaving comments below, but I will welcome any comments at this moment, so please feel free to leave your ideas below if you've got some, or if you've got any questions, please ask. I read every single comment, and I do try and reply to as many as I can. So I'm just going to finish this video here for now. Just wanted it to be a pretty short one, just to show you this as it's happening for me. And like I say, perhaps we'll do the strip down video at some point if I feel confident enough to tackle this under the camera situation, because of course the camera is always where my head is, and if I'm doing a movement for the first time, reality is I do like to do it with my full vision in front of me and not being impaired in any way. So thanks very much for watching. New videos coming very soon, of course. I've got a full schedule of things that I need to film for you guys, so stay tuned, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up please, and I will welcome again all your comments. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.